And I really believe without change, we are at risk of losing. Risk of losing our competitive advantage in a highly contested environment, risk of losing our credibility with our joint teammates and our allies and partners, risk of losing the quality airmen and their families if we don't change as an Air Force, but most importantly, our ability to defend our national interests.
The ability to move through the air has done phenomenal things for the security of our nation. If we can find new ways of doing that, one, it's not just a national security capability, but right, it literally lifts us up and lifts us up as a force. And I think it's that opportunity to democratize air travel for our airmen and for our nation. That's exciting. In that strategic context, if there is an entirely new way of doing mobility in the air, we have to be in the middle of that. We have to make sure that we understand what the implications are. We have to see how we build that as a capability for our Department of the Air Force. And Agility Prime is all about the partnership with the commercial sector, making sure we are finding the greatest technologies out there to advance our mobility in the air. So we've had over 20 different companies that have applied to this air race to certification. How many of those 20 will be viable? Does that become 30 or 40? There are over 300 companies that have designs out there. Air Combat Command is interested in the personnel recovery, phenomenal mission, and really phenomenal innovation among the airmen, thinking about that mission, how they might use this. Interesting things that kind of came out of that, and this goes back a little bit to the broader strategy of these dual-use technologies. When I'm looking at a future where we fly orbs into a new era of aerospace, I need those from a commercial perspective if I want broad access.
We've been so fortunate to be able to partner with the Air Force through the Agility Prime program. I mean, it's an extension of the team, and to be able to have access to the aviators and engineers that the Air Force has, it's, I mean, world class, right? It's accelerated us not only commercially because of the validation that comes from the world's greatest Air Force says, look, we want to operate your plane, but also just the real hard work that goes into building a plane to be augmented with folks from the Air Force has been huge.
We're starting to see this collaboration again and that team development in this new era of aerospace that we see allows an acceleration. Part of the question is, are there ways of simplifying that? And so electric vertical takeoff and landing has potentially some advantages. With electric, I have fewer moving parts mechanically. I have less hydraulic parts, so that reduces, in general, the idea is there's going to be reduced operations and maintenance. With electric, I'm able to control more effectively my acoustic signature. And then the other piece is to simplify vehicle operations.
When we fly a Leon flight test campaign, it's zero emissions through the tailpipe, which is pretty remarkable. You can do things in a way that's both commercially viable and sustainable. They're not mutually exclusive. Like, at the end of the day, we see this partnership as an opportunity to serve the members of the Air Force and to make us a better product and ultimately help us be commercially successful along the way. The Air Force brought in a bunch of global experts to do ground vibration testing on this on serial number 2. And they set up all the equipment, they brought in all the experts, and for a month they did a full complement ground vibration test, which for a small aerospace startup is kind of unheard of, right? It would have cost us tens of millions of bucks. We would have had to take the aircraft somewhere else. So to be able to lean into Air Force research labs, the accelerant there is just huge.
While it's been exciting to see the Air Force team come together and the industry team come together, I'm thrilled to see the interagency, the collaborative work with NASA, with the FAA, Department of Energy, think about new approaches to electric. So I see an energy in the nation that's going to push this industry forward.
Unlike traditional aerospace, the performance is only going to get better over time, but as new battery technologies come out, we'll put them in the aircraft and extend range, extend payload, etc. But right now, it's the limit of what Mother Nature will let us do. When you bring that together, you can do pretty awesome things. So our focus is building the best product we can to change the future of aviation.
What's phenomenal, and I think what has been impressive across the enterprise that we're working with on the Agility Prime broader team, is the level of openness that these companies have, the level of maturity that they have, and that creates the agility we need in our future Air Force.